Okay, a couple of changes today. I removed this pulp filter just because I feel like it's mostly in the way. I don't really need it. It's gonna be fine without. I'm pretty sure. And this is much easier to handle without the filter. Secondly, I wanted to start with thinking about what I actually need to do. So I'm going to start GIMP. Is it starting? Yes. Because we can start VS Code also. Maybe, finally. Thank you. Okay. New. Okay. So here's my idea, right? I hope that is not too loud. Maybe there. So here's my spaceship. And it has a center of mass around, here or something. Maybe I will color code that. Let's say that's red. Here's my center of mass. This is the pivot point for rotation. And it's also the point of acceleration. So if I have my engine here and it does that, then this is the point from which the force is asserted. It would be like going this way, right? And that's kind of it. I am having also a mass. So this entire ship, right? It's having a mass, let's say 2,000 kilos. I need to choose my units, and I think grams to just have the I don't know, probably floats is fine, but the float should be in grams, like SI units. I think that makes sense. Obviously velocity meters per second, and then we get force in newtons, right? So then everything is quite simple. The idea here is that we are having a spaceship. It's some kind of shape. It doesn't have to be triangular. With an engine, and then it has, the mass, and it uses fuel. And as the fuel is used up, it becomes lighter. But it also means that the fuel is more efficient. So that means we're having some kind of delta V. Let's say the delta V starts at 10 kilometers per minute or something. Like I'm not really sure. Second would be the like 1 kilometer per second is our delta V. So this is actually our like the effective fuel that we have, that we actually care about. But that means that the fuel on board, it's going to decrease slower as the vessel becomes lighter. And then, you know, I think if the fuel is hydrogen and oxygen and just spewing it out this way, then you can destroy ice asteroids and you can collect that, and you get your weight back, but you also get your delta V back. And then you have upgrades. So upgrades could make the engine more efficient, for example. We could also have an attachment like a fuel tank. Now, the fuel tank would mean that we are shifting our center of gravity. So if we're only having this is our center of gravity, but the tank would be having a center of gravity here when it's full. And, you know, if this is 2 tons and this is, 10 tons, then the center of gravity together would be, you know, somewhere around here, probably, or no, of course, like down here, opposite, right? But as the tank gets less full, and I'm not really sure, like probably like how would the tank wouldn't have any gravity, so like the water wouldn't collect at the bottom, right? It might just be along the edges or something, so the center of gravity doesn't change. But as it's depleted, the, you know, at some point it's going to be maybe 3 tons, and then you have the center of gravity here, then it becomes 2 tons, and then it's like in the middle somewhere, 1 ton, and it's more up here. And that would change your pivot. If the center of gravity is here, you're pivoting from there. I'm not if it's down here, you would be pivoting from the middle, right? So that's something that I would like to experiment with. I'm not 100% married to the idea that, oh, it has to work exactly like that. But that's the idea around it. And then, of course, if you have something different, let's say you have a weapon upgrade. The weapon upgrade is like, here is a huge gun now. In these directions, pew pew. Then this is going to be a lot stronger, of course. So I would like to make it fun. The point is to simulate like some simple thing like that makes sense, and I would like to make it fun in favor of making it realistic. And, you know, I'm not going to simulate fluid dynamics inside of this tank or something like that. But that's the idea. So that leaves me with what I need. Obviously, the physics for that is quite simple. The physics are going to be done in 3D, I think. But I'm just going to have like a bone with an origin and a direction. That bone is the base of my spacecraft, right? So if I manipulate this bone, it's going to manipulate the entire spacecraft, like just rotate. Instead of doing what I was doing yesterday, where I had to kind of manipulate the size or the position vector of the distance between the origin and the place I was clicking. So yeah, I'm gonna make a bone, and I'm gonna like control the bone, the spacecraft with the bone. So it needs an inverse matrix for that, which means that like probably very, very soon I want to make a simple model for that, just like, you know, something that looks 3D. That also means that I need a texture. All right. So we need UVs for the 3D model. And that's kind of it for that, because I'm not doing any animations aside from this like single bone moving around. So I don't need a another arm here and with multiple joints, where every joint is having a different effect on different vertexes. I don't really need to do that at the moment, so I'm gonna ignore that. Then I need audio. So I need a way to play probably OGG files. That also means that I probably need to what is this called? The bitrate. Not bitrate. It's the like the frequency of the audio. If it's 44 or 40, what is it? 41.0 or 44 something K. Did the bitrate kilohertz? Yeah, 44.1 kilohertz or a 48 kilohertz, right? So these things need to be kind of interchangeable. I don't want to re-render that audio into the versions and then load the one that I need. I want to transform a 48 kilohertz audio into whatever I need. Because it's probably going to be one of the two, but sometimes you have like 96 kilohertz system, or lower even. Hey, Pralinkas fuck. I hope you had science fiction. Ah, Pralinka Science Fiction is the name. Very nice. I wanted to try something. Yeah. Get started. Because I tried to. Oh, yes, it does work. I don't know if you saw that. I have redemption thing. Okay. I just wanted to try that if that worked. Apparently it does. I think I have to be live for it to actually work, though. Okay, so that's audio. That's another big thing. Then well, I need controls eventually. That's kind of what I started working on. Like, I don't know if I want to support an actual controller, or if I'm happy just dragging on the screen either with a mouse or the finger. But I do need to figure out, at least on Linux and Emscripten, like Wasm, how could I connect to a controller, or should I just like, how complicated would that be? So that is for later. Like, I don't. This is not really part of the current plan. It's something that I need to do. Let's go 3D model plus texture, audio OGG plus transform. So is it sample rate? Right. I'm not 100% sure about choosing OGG. Originally, I wanted to make my own, but I figured that's a little bit too involved. What's the next thing? Controller, input. The controls will be simple. But yeah, anyway. Then we need a font. And the font needs a... what are the font files called? I forget. OTF or something. TTF or OTF. So I need to like import OTF, and then based on the UI scale, I need to render the different symbols that I need into some kind of table. I need to have metadata related to each character for the placement of them, and I need to have a location in memory where I can draw the text that I want. So plus render plus kerning, I think it's called. And the important thing here is that I will have like a UI scale based on the size of the window. And based on that, I can decide the size of the font, and I can render that to memory, and then I can just like draw using the bitmap and use the kerning to figure out how to draw it actually on screen. But that's, that this is actually a pretty large thing, and it's not so many ways around it. Like I know there's libraries to do it, but it's nothing too complicated. It would be fun to learn and do. I'm not gonna do actually the like OTF rendering step. I'm gonna use a library for that. But like putting everything together, I feel like it's gonna be a good project. It's called kerning, right? Yeah. So then we need asset manager. So all these things, the font, the audio, the model and texture, they need to be created as generic fonts, generic assets, and they need to be compressed probably. So the OGG is already compressed. Texture I can compress with my yoga program, and the model is a bunch of floats that needs to be also compressed just using some formula. So I'm going to probably compress that using a library. So I'm going to have like several data types, textures, it will be my own library, 3D models, which is like a list of floats. They will use another library, audio, like OGG, this is compressed. So like I'm just importing that straight. Fonts are just vector files. I can try to compress them with a generic library, but I'm probably not going to get a lot out of that. So we'll see. And then, of course, we have the shader sources, which is text and generic text. That can be compressed also with like zlib or something like that. And all those things goes into the asset manager. It creates a pack file of some kind, which lists all of the assets inside, the size, how they're compressed, and then the game can read one file. It can decompress everything into memory, and, for example, compile the shader, render the font, load the audio, things like that. Or some things that don't need to be rendered immediately, like the OGG probably. I don't know if you're gonna like unpack that, or if you just give the OGG data as it is. It depends on the library I use or the API I use for playing the audio. So we'll see. But at least this is kind of like a huge deal, the asset manager, because everything else needs to be packaged somehow. And like you could have everything as like free floating files that you're like loading dynamically, but I would much rather just load one file one time and parse that, or include it into the binary and not load anything dynamically. Depends on the platform. So with Wasm, probably I will load it as a separate file, but on Windows, I just package it as a binary into the exe. So that's the plan. Now the question is, what do we start working on? So I would like so the thing is, no matter what I want to do, I kind of want to do it through the asset manager. But at the same time, I could bootstrap something just using this load file, because this is generic. It doesn't really care what it is. It's already binary, read binary there. And then I just get my data as it is, and I can bootstrap whatever I want. So and if I have something like a 3D model, I want to parse it to be just a. I don't want to import an entire GLTF with what is it called, like hex 64 data. Is it like Java? Base 64. So if you've done anything like web dev, sometimes you have these things. Right. This. And what this is just binary data in hex 64, where every character is like all 64 has assigned a like ASCII character that works with a quote like this, and then you can decode it into binary data, and that's how data is typically done in GLTF. I think you can also have the binary on the side, but then you have two files you have to read with the metadata and everything. So what I did before is I opened up a GLTF and I decoded this entire thing and made my own structs and binary and exported that, and then that was uncompressed. So I need to compress it with something like zlib probably. I think I can do that. Zlib compress float arrays. The thing is that I don't think this deflate works well with floats. So there's probably some good alternative for that. I don't necessarily have to compress it immediately if I'm just fooling around, but I do need to have my own 3D model format ideally, and I don't really have that at the moment. I have some kind of in here, or no, a sim converter. So here I'm doing something like where I'm generating a binary file. Yeah, parse this buffer. And this is, oh, this is the yoga source. That is copy pasted straight into here for some reason. But yeah, so like, see here we have like character GLTF, and then create text, I guess. Yeah, bone pointers. So like I started doing that before, and I need to remember what I was doing to be able to get back into it. So the question is, do I start doing that? Hmm. Here's my base 64 lookup table parser thing. And this is in C++ also. Just as an aside. Mm. And then there's this library, like maybe. It's single header, though it is fairly large, I think. $27,000, almost 28,000 lines of code. Not honestly, not a huge deal, but for just shaping the text, maybe it's overkill. I'm not planning on supporting like Chinese, Arabic, Japanese, whatever. So maybe this is overkill. But I would like to not spend the next year working on text. But what this is doing is it's taking a character together with the other characters, right? So Arabic is notorious for this because the shape and size of the characters depend on the other characters around it. So with this library, you get to know where to place your characters. It's like every character has a size, and then in Arabic specifically, but also sometimes in other languages you have like different characters that you need to use depending on the situation. So then you have a different size again, and then you need to place it in relation. Sometimes it's even going like above or on top of other characters. So that's what this is dealing with. Now, if you're having just a straight, you can make it your life very simple by just taking a monospace Arial kind of subset. This is monospace. Like you can limit yourself to like the alphabet, ABC, adding some extra characters like I don't know, German or Swedish or Danish or things like that. You know, European languages. And if you want to support some extra thing like Cyrillic, let's say, then you just like literally support that, and that's it. Or like you choose a similar font like monospace. So what this is good for is if you want to have something that is like generic, you just like throw in a font and it works with everything. So I'm wondering if we're gonna need that. But I do want to add maybe into the main. Yeah, here's some example texts. So we have the like lorem ipsum. We have the Iliad, first page, couple pages. Swedish lorem ipsum. Pretty funny to test the text. But there's no. There are no fonts here for some reason. And I think I want to like start with adding a font just so I can print my print some numbers. That's another thing. We need to start working on a UI. But obviously a UI without any font, it's a little bit complicated because you have to like pre-render everything. But sometimes you need to show a number, and you know, so you want to use a font. So is there a difference between TTF and OTF? Like obviously obviously they're different formats. But is there any like TTF OTF difference in copyright? Developed by Apple and Microsoft. Is it free license? Okay. Let's see then. We go to here. And like ideally, I would just have an assets file here, right next to the HTML. For now, that's not really possible. And we need to save the asset somewhere so that we can, give a parser or something. We would tell, oh, this is the folder. Please compress everything that is in there into a binary and put it somewhere else. So here is our font. And what I will do is I will be loading that dynamically for now. Which means that in our game, or actually in here somewhere, or maybe we have a different one calling, and we call it assets. I feel like it should be here. Mm, it should be something like that. Hold on. Hey, yeah, my dog was just making weird noises, so I had to go and check it out. Uh, but yeah, these files need to live somewhere. Um, so I need to have a. I don't know. Can I do like megabyte 10 there? And then I just use this as my buffer. That should work, or no? Right? Count and size. I just want to double check that it's actually. So what is this size right now? It's kind of what I expect, right? 10 megabytes. So oh, we have that we can load. That would be a static. Sorry. Now the path compared to the executable would be assets font a lot it's not super important what we're doing. Mm. Because we're not going to load it from a file anyway. It shouldn't be capitalized, by the way. Data. Mm-hmm. Or error. Mm-hmm. Oh. Mm-hmm. So now destination is actually right, and then we can load into the destination. I don't remember where I'm getting the size from. That's here, the length. But I am not returning that length anywhere. Again, I don't care too much about this function in particular. Um, we should have the length here. Expected to, but I just added it. It's in here probably. Yeah. So we're loading it there. The used is going to be size of that is 8, by the way. Plus the size. So as and let's see if that works. Yeah. Could not load. Why? We have the path. The path is incorrect because we're not using the executable path. We're using the environment path. I realized. Again, not going to be an issue later, but yeah, cool. So let's see, assets. Used is 0. Not a great look. Ah, well, used is coming later, actually. Okay. 348. That looks about correct. Three four eight 308. Exactly correct. And the assets used we get no. Does it have a bunch of zeros at the end? I don't actually know how it works. No, it has an R at the end. So you can see here the size is 945005. 945005, right? So we go 4 bytes up, and then this is supposed to be the data of the file, and it's all zeros. Mm-hmm. So this file thing is working. We have the length. We allocate the... Wait, why are we allocating a buffer? Ugh. Because I'm giving back the buffer. Yeah. So let's assert that. Let's then go ahead and open the file, get the length. We have here the length, rewind, assert that the data length is larger than the length, right? Buffer no malloc. So this is just the size of this buffer minus what's used. I'm not even sure. Maybe I should just like give it the assets itself directly. But no need to do that right now. If that is true, that should work, I think. It didn't break where I wanted to. Okay, now we're getting something. So this is the size again, and then 0100. Is that true? Looks good. And then all the way at the end, at 30 something. Yeah, it ends right at 52. This one. Great. Didn't I add a 0? Or I didn't add that to the actual size, maybe. I'm just writing it. I'm not adding it to the length. I guess I don't really need that. Not super important. Okay, so we have that file. That means that we can do something with it. For example, parse some characters. So I am going to be using SDBI. I have that actually already. True type, right? Parse files, extract glyph metrics, shapes. I don't think I'm gonna need the KB thing if I'm using this. Example. I want to do that in main. So here include STB true type. That's not gonna work, but I can add it here. Right? I don't know what this is about. I think I might have saved it and inserted them by accident. Yeah, build finished. Okay. So I need to remember, or I need to figure out how do I actually use this. No, thank you. Give me an example and see. Right. So you always need to do this like implementation, right? That's correct. And then we have some kind of, okay, this is the font. This is what we loaded. Blah, blah, blah. STB font info. And we initialize it. That was correct. We don't need that comment. Yeah, font on buffer, that's the assets. Font files 0 dot data. What is this about? Okay. So I guess this is just the get the 0th index font in the TTF file. And otherwise, error A. Let's see if that works. Huh? I'm not interested in that. What? When I'm including it as an iSystem, it should just work. So what's the issue? I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I'm getting errors on this. How do I? Like, do I have to really um do I really have to do this? Because I don't want to disable the issues or the warnings. I thought that that's what iSystem allowed me to not do. Um, no. Nuclear header order. What? Like I don't care about the asserts in that. I just want like there should be no issues just compiling this. The what C standard should I be using? 99? Might be too long ago. What C standards are there? Like C11 is the one that people like. Doesn't even matter. Help. No, it's doing nothing. I I don't even understand the error. Within a macro is not supported. Okay, but why is it like that? Okay. I don't care. This is not my. This is not why I'm using the library, so I can fix compiler issues. Unterminated function like macro invocation. Yeah, I don't really care if it's like, of course, it's going to be smaller than that. I don't need to assert that. And then I have 1,000 new things. Great. Like, is this only supporting C++ or something? Like, what is going on? like it's not saying anything about like C99, for example. No comments. C11, C++. It says C/C++. So why can't I compile it with Clang? Oh no. All of these. Mm. What if I just get it again? BB image. Easy font. What's this? Extremely inefficient. Crappy looking, ASCII only. Retype. Here we go. Yeah, so let's replace that with the one in my source. Because I think I must have like fucked something up. Oh, that just works? Okay. So yeah, definitely something I fucked up. Well then, I take back what I said. So we're initiating the font. And then we have some data, I guess. Number of glyphs, 1,000. Okay. So that's initialized. Make code point. Renders into a bitmap I provide. So how large Like, let's say I have let's say I have 100 characters. I need every character is 50 across and 80 in height. That's not so much. That's quite low, actually. Not even a megabyte? Okay. So that's something I will do this, right? I will malloc or calloc So I need to write into this my characters. Font info, well, that's the font. Unsigned car output. Width, height. Stride. So that would be 4 channels, right? Or is there only one channel for now? Which is the alpha. Scale X. 1. I don't know. Code point. Mm-hmm. Scale for pixel height. So that's probably just like getting the size of the number of pixels for the height based on the size. Like, you know, when you're having paint. I'm not 100% sure how it works, but you have some font here, right? And you have this size. And everyone knows, you know, 12 is like the default for standard text. But that doesn't mean that it's 12 pixels high. It depends on several things. Like it's around there. You can see this is like 10, 11, maybe. But then you have other characters and it's, you know, this one is only 7 high, right? So I think it's something related to that. You set the size of the font and then you get back the height that you need to use. But I'm just guessing. I'm gonna have to find out. Scale for pixel height. A scale factor to produce a font whose height is pixels tall. So it's inverted. So I'm telling it I want it 32 pixels high, like 32 like this, and then it gives me the number to generate here. From the highest ascender to the lowest descender. Yep. Okay. So I get the scale and then code point. So let's call our code point A for now. Code point bitmap box. So what I take that to mean, same as the get that, but you can specify subpixel. Get the B box of the bitmap centered around the glyph origin. So the bitmap width is ix1 minus ix0. Height is okay. So what it's telling me is I have a box. This is my box. Here's center. This is origin 0, 0, right? And This is y1, y0. So if I want to have the full size, I take y1 minus y0, because this is negative, right? And this is positive. And the bitmap top left is left side bearing times scale, comma, y0. Okay, so y0 is at the top. Yeah. Y increases down. But the shape uses Y increases up. I guess we're gonna have to just try it. X off. Offsets. They're floats. No, they're integers. So why is it incompatible? It's not incompatible. Are they incompatible? Like, is long star not the same as int star? It's an I16. Really? Like, it doesn't matter. What is going on? They are the same. and that is the scale. Code point. So there was different projects I was trying this out with. Of course. I forget where exactly, but O's probably. Or not. Main. Yes, here, true type. Okay. Also I'm ignoring everything, right? We are having this stbtt get font offset for index internal. Scale for pixel height. Get code point bitmap. Should I make like I have these definitions, right? And in here I have my type assert 32 and I have signed long is I32. I can also do type def int I32. Or I can't have both at the same time. Redefinition, yeah. So like, should I swap this for that? This is the bitmap data that I haven't actually allocated. Font buffer. Am I not giving it where to write it? Mm. Maybe it was better the way that it was. I literally don't know. Like this is not this is not drawing anything, right? So what at what point is it drawing? Yeah, we have the font info. The scale is some value. -17.0, -1 and -18. Okay. But it didn't draw anywhere, right? Width. Height. Like that, right? Create my buffer. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And then I render. The stride is row. Yeah. Width, height, width again. Unless some large number, right? Scale, code point. And that renders into what? Nothing. Void. Okay. So that probably works. And then, we can inspect it or something. I don't think I can really look at the bitmap data directly in my debugger, unfortunately. I should be able to tell at least if something is being drawn there. So let's font buffer in memory here. Oh, here. Okay. That's doesn't look great, but there's still a chance. I am not very optimistic about that. We have the width and height, and then the total width for the stride. And that's probably why it's like that. Now, I don't think, unfortunately, what if I just do this? So total width equals width, total height equals height. Where are you there? So I think, this is the entire buffer right now, which is a little bit more easy to tell. And definitely something is being drawn there. It looks okay-ish. I feel confident enough to be able to move on, because I do need to make this in once everything is done. Because we need to make this into a loop, and we need to write multiple characters. And then when everything is done, we can free this. But before we do that, we are making it into a texture. And that texture we can draw. If I create a way to draw texture. So OpenGL, I don't think I actually started assigning any textures right now or yet. I don't have a way of creating textures. So I guess that's the next thing I need to do. And that's also a good thing. Like, okay, 1 byte per pixel. We don't really need RGBA for this. We only need the alpha channel. So we can give it the color as a what do you call that? As this like bound data, and that will be completely fine. Rather than having RGBA for the font. But we do need to bind the texture itself. So we need to bind the texture. And we need to free texture. And what do we do for each case? This texture ID, where does it go? We have shader attribute, shader uniform, probably texture. So we have a texture ID, and that's kind of it. I guess we can also have the width, height, the pointer to my pixels. That I don't care about because that's only when I'm setting it up, probably. Like I'm still learning OpenGL, but usually I think you pass it a buffer, it copies that to the hardware, and then you can do whatever with your original buffer. You can free it, and it will be fine. Or you can modify it and like bind something different. But you shouldn't need to keep two buffers for your texture. So that's fine. Max amount of I don't know how many makes sense. That's coming from, where is that coming from? In the game, right? Entity max. Oh, this is different. Okay. Yeah, where is that from? Here in game H. Entity max. So we have our textures, texture count. Right. No. Wrapping and filtering options, clamp to edge, linear, looks good to me. Text image 2D, texture 2D, yes, that's correct. Mip map level 0, I think that's fine. GL red, that probably just means there's one, well, it's just GL alpha, right? I think that's more correct. And then we had the width, height, always 0, okay. The format of the source data, it's just alpha. Data type, unsigned byte, yes, that's correct. The actual pointer to your pixels, it's the text. Unbind when done, what does that mean? Like at the end of the lifetime of the program? Okay, so we are unbinding it. Okay. Incompatible. They are literally the same. Like I don't get it. .idx. Free texture. How do I free the texture? GL delete texture. Texture. Yeah. And this can have, it's a void. So this is also a void. So there's no success. I guess maybe same for this one. Void, 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 void. All right. So let's call that create texture or bind texture. Graphics, so that's state, VFX. Right? No. There we go. I don't have state. Where is this? Assets. Load assets. Well, I need the state. The texture. Maybe it should be called bitmap instead. Just so I can keep a track of it on buffer. Width is total width. And that's it. Okay. GFX. Okay, I have an ID. The width was not set. But that's fine. So that looks like it worked. And now I don't think I can use RenderDoc for this, but we can try. Maybe I can at least see that there is a buffer there. Hello? Oh, we need to update. Let me go to the bathroom quickly while it's updating. So back again. Launch application, Emscript, launch. And like that, right? Now I'm not an expert on this program, but I want to see if I can find. Well, there should be something, right? Ah, I have to load the capture. Yes, now we have something. Swap buffer, not what I'm looking for. Uh, so I can see the size here, 60 bytes. That's not enough. I'm looking for something that is a couple hundred at least. Because it does load it even if I'm not using it, right? Hey. I don't know. The texture viewer. Ah, okay. What opened up? Something opened up, but I don't see it. Texture viewer. So how do I select? Includes all textures in VRAM. Go to the texture viewer tab. List of textures on the left. Oh, here we go. Depth stencil. No. No. So there's no texture here, at least that I can see. Back buffer color. Relevant textures, yes. Those used in the draw call. Can I get all? Doesn't seem like I can do it. So I need to draw it somewhere and then I can probably inspect it better. So that means I need to. Uh-huh. Then I guess I will. Well, I have my entity, right? In my game. This entity. And he has a mesh. He can also have a texture. Now, this is an issue because I don't want to pollute again the texture itself with what is in here with its GLUint. I'm having this thing. Maybe it should be part of the mesh, and then I can do void star texture, right? Because there's different kinds of textures. You can have bump maps. You have obviously the normal texture, or, well, normal texture, bump maps, which is kind of the same. What am I thinking of? You have reflective and like a bunch of things. So I could enable the in the shader. I can just like enable this thing if the thing is set, if the pointer is not null. So it wouldn't be the texture. It would be the MUT. What is it called? There's color texture. You have map specular. Um, so I can have a bunch of like this. I can have specular texture bump. You can even have normal. And then if this is 0 in one of them, then you just don't use it. And then I don't really care what type of data because it's just a pointer to somewhere in memory. And the memory itself is still just, well, it depends on the implementation, but I think it makes a lot of sense to just have the one texture. And the one texture, OpenGL here, you have width and height, but you can also add, for example, stride. And then you can make anything. You can also have like I32 type if it's like floats. And then this should probably be like I8s instead. And or I16, I don't know. 16 bytes is a good size. And then for DirectX, for example, it would be looking different, but that doesn't really matter at the moment. This would be just one implementation. So the stride, well, this, I need to know more about this filtering options. And this is a to-do. So since we only have one texture, the stride is 1. What is it, 96? Like, I don't know if I would actually use this, right? But I guess it makes sense to fill out. And that also means that I have strides. Um, wait. No, the result is an I32. Assert false. Like, I don't know. test this first. Okay. Really? Whatever. I will not finish this right now, but I can at least fill in. Um, like something that like that is enough for now. Result. Pride equals. And this is a uint or uint 8. Do I even need to do this? Maybe it's better to just because OpenGL has something similar. It's GL alpha. Like these things, right? This is probably what I actually want to use. And then I will just use a subset. Alpha test. I don't know. This is a bit too much, but if it's a unsigned byte, they are not, they're just, are they GL uints? something like that. I mean, I'm just kind of vibing. Yeah, its definition is different, so I need to do it again here. I don't think it's running. How is it running? Emscripten. Okay. Find. I don't know. Is it running? Windows, please. Okay, I found it. For some reason, it was running. Find texture, 3. Yeah. We have our texture bound. Now we need to into our shader. Do we need a separate shader for that? And again, I'm not good at writing shaders or anything, so we have our matrix, vision matrix. We get the vertices, and then we just assign the color based on the vertex color. This needs to be a UV instead. Then it goes in here. It has the vertex color. This is where we need the UV. So I think we just need like completely separate. This is called vertex quad, which is, you know, not so descriptive. Maybe it should be called something different. And of course, we need to compile that in wherever we're doing that. In the window? No, it's got to be here. Here. That still works. So we are making new shaders. How do they look like? So I think I'm just literally just swap this for a UV. So this is a vec2, a text. And this is varying. This is going into the pixel shader. This is what's coming in, attribute, texture. And then this is what comes out, the vertex value for the texture. But I can't just do this, right? Or can I? Having fun with wasting points. Let's see here. So yeah, we give it a vec2 instead. We just pass it through. And then in the fragment shader, this is taking the alpha from the red channel, which is what it was setting up here. Um, here, I don't know what makes sense. Like I don't really care if it's red or not. It's just like I want it to be one byte only. And then it's full white. And then the alpha is the alpha from the texture. Cool, yeah. Let's make that then. Whoops. That's not actually what I wanted to do at all. I want to make a new oops. Um I'm being confused right now. Okay. So we have the color vertex shader and the vertex color shader. Those both look okay. And then we have the color pixel shader, which is not this. And we have the texture pixel shader. And it's a vec2 v text. So yeah, let's do .a. I don't know if that will work. But we can try it. We need the texture also. Where's the texture coming from? It's just a sampler. This always needs to be there. And then we have a UV. right? And we have the sampler. Sampler is sampling the alpha from the texture. So this needs to be renamed again because this is actually just like sampling the alpha from the texture, not not applying any texture, but that's good enough. I need to, of course, compile them. So luckily, I do have that kind of set up. Length. Oh, right. Don't really care about that. So this entire thing needs to be like, because all I want to do is I want to pass these assets and some metadata. The metadata should be part of the file itself, but then I need to read it and parse it. But essentially, like all of this is just compiling one shader program, and I want to be able to just pass the buffer source and have it be done. I don't have that right now. So that means I need to figure out what should I actually create. I have one shader program. I need to have two. Shader programs max. This doesn't need a count. And this shader programs does have a texture or program count. Yep. So I need to compile the second one. Is this not just kind of like all of this should actually be here? And right. So now I can replace all of this. No? This is not quite true. This needs to be outside. But we can give it this shader program 0 for now. So this entire thing now becomes compiling these shaders. But it's setting up this very, very specifically. Uh, For now, I'm just going to copy paste it, but this is not a good solution. So then we have textures. And it looks a little bit different. We still have the UMVP. Matrix. We have the position, but here, instead of color, we have UV. And it's 2. And this vertex, I'm not 100% sure if I should just put that here as a like fat struct. But I think that works for now. It is a float. Yeah, that should all just work. No, it feels weird. Like, okay, I just copy paste and then it works. Hopefully. What is this? Warning: access elements. Aha. So in the bottom left, what is the UV? It goes from 0 to 1, right? So that would be 0.0f, 0.0f. And then we have on the right, it's a 1, 0. And then the top right, so it's a 1, 1. And then bottom right, so bottom left. Top left? What? Well, I guess if this is... Yeah. That might work. Access. Uh-huh, uh-huh. I don't really care about this one. It can be 0, 0 for all I care. So that compiles. I don't think it's using any of it. Okay. Interesting. Why is it using the wrong... Why is it using the wrong program? What is going on? Main... shader program for... Okay, so the shader program, that is 4 for some reason. The first program I make is 4, and the second one I make is not set up. Okay. Oh, wait, I know what's going on. This is what happens when you copy paste. And also this shader program count needs to be 2. Program count. Like this. So now it should work again. Yep. But the difference being that I have 2 shader programs. This is my second one. This is the first one. For one, well, for this one, this thing here, I want to use the second shader program. Let's also put it somewhere I can see it immediately. That's in game C, and then translation, it could be 50 and 100. Yeah, that's beautiful. 200. Okay. I want to assign each entity shader program to use. The shader program is assigned in the init, or no, in the setup here. So maybe this is the default, but then override. Let's see, that should be white now. And in this shader program, I need to tell it to use this texture. And I don't know how to do it. I'm gonna ask. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Oh wait. We create the shader program. We attach shaders, link them, detach. Okay. The texture is unique, so to say. So I guess I have to link this every time. Because this use program, I'm doing that in my draw here. I use this program. If there is a texture involved, then I need to do that here probably. Texture, location, U texture. So that is a uniform. A uniform attribute, so to say. So because okay, here I have my structs. I have entity, program, attribute, uniform. We do have a uniform attribute here. So we have UMVP. That's the first one. Second one is count. It's actually 2. Like that. This needs to be used somewhere. In the draw, probably. Because what am I using this uniforms for? Get uniform location name ID. And what is this? GL uniform 1I. So it's like 1 integer, unsigned, signed. Matrix 4 floats. So do I have the function pointer there? Because I clearly need to do something about this uniform. If the uniform is type of matrix, then use this function. Otherwise, do something different. Sampler slot 1. So what do I do? Like, do I just add a type here? I'm not really sure. I guess I have to just do this. Maybe I can figure out a better way to do it later, but we have the uniforms. SP uniforms 0 dot type equals and realistically that's like the one, this one, this one, this ones are the most likely I'm going to be using, even if there's a bunch here. No, I don't know. I guess I all of them have a use. Now I probably can avoid an if check, but for now I'm just not even gonna care. So whatever works works. For each Uniform. Yeah, it's SP. Mm-hmm. So if it's this, then we do that. And if it's this, then I need the mesh color texture. Like for now, this has to be changed. But for testing, this is fine. Yeah. This is the texture. It's E. Yes. Let's TFL assert it's not null. So I need to do this GL uniform I 1I. The location is the E. No, text. ID. Count is one value. Mm, too few arguments. Okay. Will it draw? Oh, it was 0, but my assert was after. So that means in somewhere I have to assign that. Probably on this override. So GFX shader entities. No. The entity mesh equals zero. So this, like, obviously I will change this a lot, but just to make it work. Yeah, didn't quite work. Why not? Blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Width, height, okay. Um. Well, obviously I missed something. Activate the shader texture unit. Okay. Bind texture. Hmm. So what is this about? This should be in the create shader program. Bind texture. The texture is text IDX. And then later I drop it. Like where should this go? for the current program. So that should be in my here. I have, you know, like for each, I think. Yeah, here. Get uniform location. Do I even need to do this? Like, I don't know. I might have to think about this harder. I just wanted to get something today. Well, that did not work. Break. So it's telling me this is only a most drivers default the sampler to 0. Well, I'm setting the sampler 0 when I'm creating the texture, right? If I can find that. Target texture. No. Texture ID. Yeah, I'm doing all of that. The slot. Texture 2D. Well, we are running out of time, so I'm gonna have to call it a day here. Tomorrow we will get this working. I don't know exactly what the issue is, but clearly it's using the right shader. It's just not using the texture data for some reason, and it might be several reasons. It could be because I'm using the wrong channel. This alpha or red thing. or I'm not binding the texture correctly to the correct slot. But I need to think about where that actually goes. Yeah. So like not a huge deal, but that's it for today. So I will be uploading this or push it. CMD, yep. And we will continue tomorrow. Git add, git commit. Started. With also you can see what I'm writing actually if you want. Also, we started rendering fonts to a buffer that will go a texture. Beautiful. Okay. So as you can see here, I have, if you're curious about the source, you can go to gitlab.com/timps and you will find it here in my personal projects. Updated 18 seconds ago. So everything is there. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. So thank you and good night.